Hi guys, my name is Kira. I live in BC, so I don't live in Toronto. I am a part of Julia's little project. Anyways, so I guess I'll just go into it. Okay, so question number 1. What is your sex? A, male, B, female. Well, I'm kind of female. Okay, number 2, what is your age? I am C, so I'm 16. Do you have any siblings? Yes, I do. I have 2 older brothers. Or no, sorry, 1 older brother, 1 younger brother. 4, at what age were you adopted? They kind of estimated, so it was like 3 to 5 months. We're not 100% sure because in China they said I was 5 months, but then when I came to Canada, they thought I was 3 months. At what age did you find out that you were adopted? I don't really have an age because my parents, they got me to grow up with knowing that I was adopted. So I think it was really ever since I was brought to Canada that I figured out I was adopted and that I didn't look the same as everyone else. Do you have any memories of your adoption? When I was younger, I used to have these nightmares. I don't know, I think they were of China. I'm not 100% sure, but I used to have nightmares of, I think, China. And I used to like wake up and then I'd start crying. I don't really have any memories other than that. I don't get them anymore. Where were you adopted? I was adopted in Wuchun, Guangdong province. So that's in the southwest. It's near Hong Kong. And it's like a really small and poor town. Do you talk openly about your adoption with your parents/guardians? I do. Ever since I was young, my parents have brought me up with being really open about adoption and everything. So I'm really comfortable with talking to them about it, which is really helpful. And I think it kind of makes like your connection with your family, your adoptive family, a lot easier and just more open and communicative. Do you and your family celebrate your adoption yearly? And I do. We do. So every year we have my estimated birthday, my birthday. We also celebrate my adoption day. So that's the day that my mom actually, because my mom went to go get me from China, so that was the day that she actually when she met me, and that's December 10th, and we go out usually for Chinese food or we make it ourselves, and we just kind of celebrate all of that, and we usually have a special cake, and sometimes I have like little small presents and stuff like that. So we do celebrate it. And oh, what do you do to celebrate? Well, I just kind of answered that question. So what ethnicity/racial background do you think you belong to? I think I am Chinese. I was born in China, as far as I know. So I'm just gonna stick with Chinese, although a lot of Asian people think I'm Filipino, and a lot of people think Julia's Filipino, and a lot of adoptees that I know that are Filipino. So I don't know. I'm gonna stick with Chinese though. Has the thought of being adopted ever caused you stress? I don't really think so. Like, obviously, being different, like so different than anyone else, especially where I live in a really white community, so just having someone who's even adopted from China is like a huge step out of the circle of white people in our community. I don't think I really stress over it. I really try not to because I'm pretty confident about it. But I guess in the past it has caused me a little bit of stress, but right now I'm really content with being adopted and it's not causing me any stress at all. Have you ever seen yourself as different from those who are not adopted? Well, of course I do, because really I'm not like anyone. Well, no one is the same as anyone really, because everyone's different, but I'm especially not the same as anyone else who isn't adopted, because their family's connected by blood and mine's connected by just like love and I don't know, I guess passion, because my mom and dad decided to, sorry, that's my dog. She's kind of crazy. Anyways, gonna go through this. They decided, like, they wanted to adopt me, and it just, I don't know. Everybody else's families are just connected by blood and, obviously by love and all of that stuff, but I could have not been adopted, and so the differences between my friend's family and my family is that, I guess, that they were born into that family and I was born and then brought into my adoptive family. So it's different because of our skin color, as well as our me being Chinese and my parents being white. Especially my mom and my brother, they're redheads and really, really white. So we look very different. And because my younger brother and I are so close in age, we go to the same schools usually. And people have no clue. For years and years and years, they don't know that we're brother and sister until we actually tell them, because they never guess it. But I guess I do see myself as being different from someone who is not adopted, but I'm really happy with being different, and I'm really okay with it. Do you know anyone else who is adopted? I know a lot of people, which I think is really, really great, because it really helps out the situation, and it makes me and I think other adoptees feel more connected and able to talk openly about adoption. I know I have a China Beach group, which is in Toronto. I used to live in Toronto, and there's like there's a group of like Chinese adopted girls, so I'm really good friends with a lot of those girls, and I keep in touch, as well as my adoption group, which Julie is a part of. And I made a group last year and trying to find as many girls as I could find who were in our adoption group, and there are just so many girls who I found and who I'm able to talk to, even though a lot of them speak French, which is really hard, but a lot of them speak like 3 of them speak English. So, and the people who speak French, they speak English pretty well. So, I can still talk to them, and a lot of them are enthusiastic about it. So it's really great to talk to them about it, as well as we have our China's Children International group, who there's like over 1,000 people in it, and it's parents and kids who were adopted from China, as well as parents of adoptees. And it's just really great to have so many people in one group who are like all over the world. They're like in the States, and they're in England, and in Australia. Like, it's so cool. And I guess there's so many people who, I don't know, who are adopted the same as me, but I think through my traveling years and when I grow up, I think I'll meet maybe, a few more people who are adopted from China. And I find it so enlightening when I do meet those people, or when I do meet people who are adopted who maybe aren't Chinese, of other nationalities. And I still do. I love talking to them about adoption. It doesn't matter what race you are, but if you're adopted, I think, the whole concept of adoption, the whole idea of it, it's still the same no matter where you come from. And it's just so easy to talk about when you're really enthusiastic about it, to anyone really. And I think it just makes me feel like there are so many other people who were adopted, as well as people who are not adopted, but have questions for me and allow me to talk about it really enthusiastically and openly. And it's kind of like they're adopted too, except that they have so many questions about it, instead of like being able to relate to it as much as someone who is adopted. But it makes me feel like there are more adoptees, even if someone isn't adopted or is adopted but from a different race. There are so many people, and it really helps everything, and just feeling like I'm not the only one. So I really like that. Uh, what is your opinion on the topic of adoption? Um, that's a weird one. I like it. I like adoption, especially from poverty-stricken countries. Is I think it's really good, um, because kids who maybe might not have the chance where they're from to grow to the best of their abilities, but to be brought up, like adopted and brought up into some place like Canada or the US or, wherever, and just able to live in a stable home and get an education, get healthcare, and all that, food, like all the necessities really. It's really great for people who might not have had that chance where they're from in third world countries. I think it's really great, and I think it really should continue, because I think it's a really great thing. And if I wasn't adopted, I wouldn't be here, right? So, who knows where I could have been. I could have still been in China, maybe still in the orphanage where I was put. I don't know. But I'm just really thankful to be adopted. So. Rate your level of confidence. 0 being no confidence and 10 being fully confident. I'm a 9. I'm a 9. Yeah, 9.5? Something like that. In the high 9s. I'm really confident with adoption. I'm really confident within myself. And not in a vain way, not at all, but just in a way that I'm content with myself and who I am and where I come from and my identity. I'm not really I'm just really happy with who I am and who I've become and who I will become too, because I haven't fully grown yet to the best of my abilities. I'm only 16, so I have many years to come, and a lot can happen in that. So I'm just really confident right now, and hopefully it'll stay that way, because I really don't want to be, insecure about adoption and myself, because it hurts myself and it'll hurt the people around me. So, you know, um, I'm just perfectly fine with who I am right now. Do you struggle with your identity? If yes, how do you struggle with your identity? I think every adoptee, no matter where you come from, really has the question, especially in China, like Chinese adoptees, like, why were you given up or abandoned? Why did your parents not want you? Stuff like that. And there are so many questions, like really our whole past is a question mark, and we don't know so many answers, but we have so many questions that really cannot be answered, because China's huge and the chance of finding your parents is so slim. But so many people have hope, and I really admire those people. I have hope too, but thinking realistically, it probably won't happen, but I'd really love it if it were. But also I think a lot of adoptees, including myself, would be really scared if we did find our birth parents, because, being hit with reality, maybe why our parents didn't want us or abandoned us, or, whatever you may think, that if we do find our birth parents, that reality will come and it will hit us, and our whole past will make sense. And it's so weird, because, having all these questions for 16 years, it starts to add up, all those questions, and your identity and who you are, and like who you could have been. I do think about like who I could have been, because like China's, I guess, kind of struggling, like economically. they're doing well, but government-wise and just like looking at the people in China, it's sad. It's sad, and I I just I wonder who I could have been if I were still living in China, if my birth parents kept me. Those are the questions that I kind of have. But other than that, I know who I am, and who who I would like to be, and who I could have been is still a big question. So if you don't know about your adoption, if you didn't know about your adoption until later, how would this impact you, i.e., as an adult or an older child? I thought about this because someone I know didn't tell their child. Actually, this goes into the other question. It says, if you adopted a child, how would you approach their adoption? So someone I know, who's a parent already, but she's not 16. She's a lot older. She did not tell her child that they were adopted, and it really impacted them in a really negative way because